All right, let's get to some of the other stuff that's around today, including, get ready, because tomorrow there is going to be another interest rate rise. It'll go up by either 1/4 or 0.5%. Now, if it's 0.5%, that will again be the second record high interest rate rise in 22 years. Economists don't know if they'll go that far. The predictions all over the shop.
How big a rate rise are you expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, isn't that the question? I think Governor Lowe a couple of weeks ago saying it's 25 or 50 basis points. So I think for me, it's more likely to be a 50 basis points.
So if it's 50, interest rates have gone up 1% since the change of government. But the bloke who said that he would always turn up if there was a natural... Oh, that's right. Always turn up if there was an... Oh, that's right. The guy who's obsessed with cost... Oh, that's right. He's, of course, meeting world leaders. Doing the easy yards, as my mate Chris Smith quite correctly said last night on his program. It's not hard to go and shake hands. It's not hard to say, all the problems, that's the old guy. Well, there are plenty of problems happening right here for the very people who elected this Prime Minister, and God forbid, those who didn't vote for this Prime Minister. And let me give you an example of some of the things that we just learnt about today. There is a huge number of building companies that have gone insolvent in Victoria alone in the past few months. Australian industry says that we haven't even bottomed out right now when it comes to problems in the retail sector. Also, the suggestions are that the energy crisis is getting even worse for, God forbid, small business. As we showed you a couple of nights ago, supermarket owners that have been there for generations, who've been there through Liberal and Labor governments, say it might be time to close up because of the horror bill they get every month or every quarter.
Now the family fears it could be crippled by Christmas thanks to soaring power prices.
It'll probably come to a point we'll have to just shut shop. You know, you cannot just keep going like this. We're talking in the $20,000 to $25,000 range a month. That's $200,000 a year extra.
Meantime, the glad handing may happen between world leaders, but here in Australia, in the 21st century, pensioners are doing this to cut their power bills.
Every day, Lofty turns off his electricity at 8 a.m. At 11:30, lights, stove, water. It's all systems go, but only for 25 minutes. By 11:55, Lofty turns the electricity off again.
How long do you think you'll do this for?
The rest of my life.
Forever?
Yeah, well, that's life when you live on a pension.
But that's all okay. We're shaking hands with Emmanuel Macron. Ridiculous. Meantime, today, 50,000 people in Victoria access the food bank system. This is where people donate food and they get it from charity. 50,000 from just one charity. But where was the Prime Minister today? Well, he was taking the great brave steps of Winston Churchill, or should I say Ben Stiller, by visiting the Ukraine. Now, the Ukraine is obviously important. Australia needs to do its bit, but we are overdoing our bit because despite the fact that we have pensioners in Australia that are turning off the power box to survive and businesses may well go out of business, guess what the federal government did while you were sleeping? They found an extra $100 million to go towards the Ukraine. To put this into some perspective, and David Crowe wrote well about this today in the Sydney Morning Herald, we have now given more money and more military aid than many countries in the EU. So make this very clear. Russia next to Ukraine, Ukraine next to Poland, Poland part of Europe. But Australia is giving more money than European countries to deal with the problem. Should we be part of the effort? You betcha. But should Europe be spending more than Australia? Bloody oath. And should our Prime Minister stop and come back? Get on with the job. Stop doing the victory lap. Stop doing the easy yards. Stop doing the victory lap and get back to governing the country. Because I know we're going to put Parliament off until the end of July to be more family friendly, which is code for extend the honeymoon. Well, like anyone who's been through a honeymoon, they're great, but at some point they have to end. And Albo's has to end now. Because if we live in a country where, as we've shown you, people are struggling and businesses are exploding, the map that they put together on the Daily Mail tells a story that I don't think any Prime Minister should be proud of this early into a term. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Despite the fact that there was leaking to journalists today, don't worry, he's coming back. He'll visit all of the flood zones on Thursday. He's leaving the country again at the end of the week, this time to go to Fiji.